All right, let's continue modeling our hammer. So we took a cube and then we used the untangle to create a round portion of the polygons, which then we could bevel out and create the round head of the hammer. We're going to sharpen those out in a little bit, but let's finish building the back end of the hammer. And the way I'm going to do this is in polygon mode down here at the bottom. So we want to tell Modeler working with polygons. And I'm going to select just the 6 polygons, not the entire side like I did the front. And again, the same tool applies. Bevel's not going to work for us. We're going to use multi-shift, and we're going to press N for numeric and make sure that group polygons is on. Then we're going to click and drag, and you can see that we can kind of extrude that out. Now in this case, all we want to really do is multiply these and push them out a little bit. And then once we do that, we've generated new polygons. So it's really pretty simple just to take that selection, press the T key for move, and just move them out. Okay, and then we're going to manipulate these polygons to create the shape we need. So just another way to do things, and that is the premise of all these tutorials. It's just to show you all these different tools. Now you would think maybe to multiply this by hitting multi-shift and kind of going like that. And I think that can actually work. You don't necessarily have to. You can just smooth out those single points, but adding that extra little lip right there will help us. And you can press Shift A to fit it to view, and I'm going to press H for scale. And over here in the front view, I'm just going to click and drag in and kind of square that out, paying attention to my view up here to make sure that's relatively even. Spacebar turns off that scale tool, and let's click a little blank area on the interface to deselect. And now we are going to save this as incremental. So we're going from version 1 to version 2. So version 1 had just the hammer with the head. Version 2 now has this. Now I want to bend this, and earlier I had showed you how just something like a flat polygon wouldn't bend properly. Well, the same applies here. For instance, if I go to point mode and I right mouse around those and I hit the T key for move, I get the kind of that straight line there because there's nothing for it to bend. There's no geometry inside there. So how do you do that? Well, we'll jump back to polygon mode. I'm going to run our mouse in the wireframe view this time over these polygons. If I had done it in this top view, only the currently visible would be selected. In this case, with a wireframe, I select all the way through. And with those selected, I can slice them up. Okay, so over here in the Multiply tab, at the bottom is Bandsaw Pro. And when I click that, I get all of these nice segments. Now, I had already done this once because I wanted to know how many segments to put in. But let me show you what actually is going on. Let's open up numeric. Let's turn on bandsaw. First, let's select our polygons again. Okay, and we'll hit Bandsaw Pro. And here you can see that all of these slices you see, all this geometry was done right here. So I'm going to hit clear, and you can see that this tool works live right inside my modeler interface, which is really pretty cool. So in this case, what I want to do is just add some new edges. I want to put some new slices all the way through there. Now I can use the knife tool, which is this guy right here under subdivide, and just literally click and drag down and slice. But I want it relatively even because we're going to bend it. So the operation, we're going to say add. And I'm going to click a few times, kind of like that. And then we're going to hit uniform. And just like magic, that's all done. Now with that numeric off, just by hitting that button you saw earlier, it actually just went ahead and applied it. Alright, so now I'm going to hold the right mouse button on the Mac laptop. It is the command key along with the shift, and we're going to add to our selection to select that entire back end. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bend this. Okay, and we might want to taper it a little bit too. So I'll tell you what, let's move on to the next video and I'll introduce you to those tools.